They whisper my name like it burns in their throats. I'm the storm in the desert, the wolf in the coat. Tension's a rope, tighter with every glance. I'm the dancer with the devil leading this macabre dance. Gold teeth glint under flickers of the neon. King without a crown, the throne I put my feet on. Every move's a chessboard, every look a checkmate. Grew up in the dark where the sun don't set late. Who you fooling? Not a soul in the room. Every step a warning, every breath a tomb. Now what? Now what? Standing in my way. Now what? Living for the prey. Now what? Frozen where they stay. Now what? Ain't nobody safe. Now what? Standing in my way. Now what? Living for the prey. Now what? Frozen where they stay. Now what? Ain't nobody safe.
I've held so much in silence, and tonight I want you to hear it, all of it. Every laugh we shared, every moment I missed. I hope my love reaches you, even through the cracks of who I am. Don't forget to keep my words close, my dear. Be better than me, that's the only thing I fear. Heroes get remembered, legends never die. You're the legend that never fails to light up my sky. Fly high as I fade into the distance, and no one thing is clear. You are stronger than anything they throw at you, and that is what they should fear. This is for you, my daughter. Through every shadow, every broken moment, every crack, I hope you feel my love. You used to laugh, you used to play, caramel dreams at the end of the day, milkshakes, stories the world felt small. Just a moment of peace before the night would fall, and I'd watch you glow while I fought to breathe, hiding every crack you were never meant to see. You were growing strong while I was trying to stay, tracing sunlight on the walls of a mind gone gray. Through stayed behind alone with my feet. My mind is a prison with invisible bars, counting the hours by the flicker of scars. And you broke on with grace. I could never find proof of the courage I lacked in my mind, but I held on to hope in the smallest way, that you felt my love even when I couldn't stay. Through the wind of broken me, you saw the pieces I never meant you to see, but you still shine, you still believed, even when all I offered was a trembling plea. Oh, Carmela, you carried the strength I couldn't be, a miracle looking through the window of broken me. We choose our path by the words we speak. Every truth I whisper shapes the days you keep. Through the window you see the broken part, not the man I needed, not the one I meant to be. I still wonder where that version went, the one who could stand tall without shattering. Maybe he's wandering somewhere through the streets, through the nights, trying to find his way back to the broken me you glimpsed. And yet here I remain, a shadow with a heart that beats only for you. Even through the cross, even through the glass, I hope you feel the love that never faltered, never left, never stopped reaching. Through the window of broken me, you see the love that survives solidly, not the man I wished I could always be, but the heart that lived, that beat for only thee. Every fear, every tear, every night I fell apart could not erase the bond we carry in our hearts. Oh, Carmela, you are the light I could not see, a hope shining endless through the window. Torment me. I cry for the time I could not give, for the years I watched.
Does a man feel safe in his own skin? Does he ever let somebody in?
He holds his pain like a quiet flood, keeps his truth under muscle and blood.
But why doesn't he speak what he feels? Why hide what's already real?
'Cause pride is heavy and humble at the same time.
A man stands tall even when he's dying inside.
Together,
Is that swing? Or is that fear?
it's both, baby, both real.
A man can never understand another man, 'cause a man is meant to stand. A man is just a man, trying the best he can. Just a man.
Just a man.
Trying the best he can. Yeah. See, a man ain't built for explaining. He's built for holding storms while it's raining. He carries weight like it's stitched in his skin. Won't show a crack even when he's breaking within. He loves hard, but he loves in silence. Raised on pressure, taught resilience. Never taught the language of pain or fear. Only stand straight, only stay clear. And a man might cry, but he cries inside, in the dark, where his shadows hide. He ain't perfect, he ain't grand, he's just a man.
So does a man know who he is? Does he know what his heart really gives?
He gives quiet love, baby, not loud. He lifts the world, but never the crowd.
Never the crowd, never the crowd. He walks through fire with steady shoes, but never says when he's bruised.
But tell me true, does a man even understand you? No. A man can never understand another man, 'cause a man is meant to stand. A man is just a man. A man is just a man, holding what he can, trying to be the rock, trying to be the plan. Never fully understood, never fully seen. Just trying to be what a man's supposed to mean.
Supposed to mean, meant to stand.
Just a man.
So in the end,
What is a man?
he's just a man.
And that's all he ever needed to be.
Do you want me to also mark the female echoes and vibrato moments for easier studio production?
Bluetooth connected.
Thought navigation. And you are, because awareness is time regained, not by seconds, but by consciousness. Soft music fades in, gentle ticking returns, now synchronized with a heartbeat sound. For those living without a clock, remember, time is not what you lose, it's what you notice. Until next time, this has been No One Thought. And as always, hello, it's nice to see you've got me. So we meet again. Podcast title, Superposition of the Mind Between Crazy and Genius, a No One Thought episode. Thought Navigation. Thought Navigation Online. Good evening, thinkers, and welcome back to No One Thought, the place where logic and laughter share the same wavelength. Tonight's reflection, what if crazy and genius were never opposites, but part of the same equation? William, I've lived with a brain injury for years now. Some days people call me lazy, others, they call me brilliant. Truth is, I'm neither, and I'm both. You see, when your mind doesn't work like everyone else's, it's not that you aren't trying. It's that you're playing by physics nobody else sees. Time slips, words twist, and sometimes your own thoughts sound like echoes in a tunnel. But that doesn't mean you're broken. It just means your brain's still trying to find rhythm in a world that won't slow down long enough to listen. Thought navigation. And society, William, is quick to measure performance, but rarely perception. They see fatigue, not overload. They see silence, not survival. And that's where judgment becomes a kind of blindness, a refusal to understand what can't be seen. Exactly. People think I'm lazy because I take longer to process, longer to focus. But the truth is, my mind never stops. It's like a supercomputer running too many tabs, all open, all important, none closing. Now here's where it gets a little quantum. We talk about Schrödinger's cat, you know, the cat in the box that's both alive and dead until observed. I think the same thing applies to sanity. Until someone measures it, until someone decides what normal looks like, we all exist in superposition. Not crazy, not sane, both. Thought navigation, a superposition of consciousness, and the moment society opens the box, the label collapses, one or the other, measured, judged, decided. Right. So until then, I guess I'm super crazy, both brilliant and broken, lazy and overdriven, seen and unseen. And honestly, that's kind of freeing. Because if we refuse to measure it, if we just let the wave keep waving, then we can exist without being reduced to a number, a diagnosis, or a label. You're describing the liberation of uncertainty.
You see, this isn't a podcast. It's a permission slip to feel, to reflect, to rewrite yourself without shame. Each episode is a page, each listener a co-author, and every silent nod a signature at the bottom of the truth. So if you're scrolling past and something caught you, a sentence, a stillness, a line you couldn't quite explain but couldn't forget, that wasn't by accident. That was thought, remembering itself. We'll be back soon with more letters never sent, more thoughts never thought, and more moments that gently remind you, you were never alone in here, until we meet again. hello. When we return, it won't be with answers. It'll be with mirrors, with echoes that feel a little less lonely, with questions dressed in poetry and silence shaped into song. Because no one thought isn't here to fix you. It's here to find you. In the clutter, in the noise, in the soft space where your voice has been quietly waiting its turn. Whether you heard one line or the whole hour, whether you caught this live or on a replay in the middle of your night shift, you were part of the unfolding, part of the pause, part of the page turning. And if you're holding something heavy right now, a memory, a secret, an unsent thought you tucked beneath the skin, you don't have to hold it alone. We're not here to rush. We're here to return, as often as you need. Follow us on Spotify, support us on Patreon, and if you felt seen today, share this with one who thinks too loud and speaks too soft. Because thought travels further when it's shared without shame.
Bluetooth disconnected.
Masquerades as information seeking, it whispers. You must know everything. Yet knowledge has its limits. Some truths cannot be grasped immediately, and our minds race nonetheless. Ethically, we cannot manufacture certainty where it does not exist. Our task is presence, discernment, and restraint. And in that, we discover the strength to hold space for ourselves without judgment. Here, we map the safe harbor, name what is known, identify what is unknown yet unavoidable, accept uncertainty without condemnation. The shield is not armor. It is awareness. Protect your energy from chasing hypothetical disasters. Boundaries are not weakness. They are navigation. Every moment presents choices. Ask yourself, what action causes the least harm while respecting reality? Your responsibility ends where safe, realistic action ends. Stepping beyond that point is not courage. It is risk. Knowing when to pause is ethical, honorable, and profoundly human. You may feel anger, frustration, or guilt. These are not signs of failure. They are signals of your values, reflections of your engagement with life. Even amid chaos, one can act kindly, wisely, and ethically. And that, dear listener, is enough. That is navigation. Your body may tension.
Ain't got a blanket, ain't got a bed. Lost a dog that used to rest by my head. Fire took the memories, the walls and the floor. Now I'm standing where a doorway ain't a doorway no more. Half a pocket full of nothing and a night full of cold, but I still keep walking like I ain't been told. If the world's still spinning, then I guess I am too, even if every mile tries to pull me in too. 'Cause I lost it all, yeah, lost it all. Even the little things meant to break my fall. But I ain't crying, I'm just singing it true. Level ground's the only thing I'm asking from you. Yeah, I ain't reaching for a miracle sign, just a patch of earth where the stars can lie. I've lost it all, but I'm still pushing through. Level ground's the only thing I'm asking from you. Trust you to remember where you go. Boot soles thin and the nights run long. Every step feeling like the world gone wrong. But I shake off the dust, push the ache aside. 'Cause even broken wheels can take one more ride. 'Cause I lost it all, yeah, I lost it all. Even the little things meant to break my fall. But I ain't begging, I'm just laying it true. Level ground's the only thing I'm asking from you. Yeah, I ain't searching for a silver sign, just a night of peace and a straight down line. I've lost it all, but I ain't through. Level ground's the only thing I'm asking from you. A man more strong. They ain't been on a hill that long. They ain't felt the burn when the wind bites back. Watch their whole life fade into black. I ain't looking for pity or a sympathetic hand, just a quiet place where a heart can land. And maybe one sunrise that don't feel like a test. Maybe one breath that settles in my chest. 2 inches from the street, an hour from the ground. Still hoping this year I ain't homeless around. Got a pocket full of wishes and the shoes to prove. Sometimes the blues is the only thing left that moves. like an old steel wire. If life's gonna drag me, let it drag me slow. I got one more verse in me before I go. Yeah, I lost it all, but I'm still here singing, I refuse to fall. I ain't asking for riches, diamonds are proof. Level ground's the only thing I'm asking from you. Let the night be kind, let the dawn be true. Let the tide find a rest in a sky they once knew. I've lost it all, but somehow I grew. Level ground to stand on in this cold. From the ground, I've been falling so long, I forgot the way down. Lost the dog, lost the blanket, lost the last place I slept. Even the fire took the little bit of warmth. I don't give a fuck if you don't give a fuck. And if you don't give a fuck, then I won't give a fuck. And we'll all just be fucked. But if you give a fuck and I give a fuck, then we'll have a fuck times two. If you give half a fuck, then can I give half a fuck? Does that mean we got a fuck to lose? That's why I would say with every single day, I hope I give a fuck to lose. Cause on that very day when I will ride and say I don't give a fuck about it too, it gon' be the end of days before you see that phrase. But I just thought you should know that I know. And because they didn't In the quiet where the world won't look, in the chapters no one dared to book, in the thoughts that tremble just before they're caught, I learned to speak in the silence that no one thought. Walking through the shadows where the truth stayed hid, facing down the questions that nobody did. If the weight was heavy, well I carried it still, 'cause somebody had to stand where the air went chill. Every whisper they avoided, I heard it clear. Every path they never walked pulled me here. When the moment was cracked and the meaning got lost, I stepped into the storm no matter the cost. No one thought, not the truth, not the story, not the cost it brought. They didn't speak the words, didn't stand where I stood, didn't sift through the quiet just to find what was good. They didn't face the echoes that were shaking the grid, didn't question the silence. And because they didn't, I did. No one thought, so I became the voice they forgot they sought. I carved out meaning from the spaces they hid, pulled light from the dark, they never lifted the lid. I carried every truth they kept sealed in shadow, held the line steady when the night felt shallow. The last word falls when the story runs low, when the mind needs a moment just to settle and slow. And until we see you again, hello. I've walked roads where the echoes ache, where the broken parts learn what they can't unbreak, where the quiet is louder than a thunderstorm and the truth takes shape in a different form. I've seen the fears that grow behind the eyes, where the heart hides hurt in a thin disguise, and I carried those shadows like a lantern's glow, lighting up the dark where the lost thoughts go, where the world stays blind. I've kept my sight, tracing every outline in the endless night, 'cause someone had to speak what the rest forgot. Someone had to think what no one thought. Not the truth, not the story, not the cost it brought. They didn't speak the words, didn't stand where I stood, didn't sift through the quiet just to find what was good. They didn't face the echoes that were shaking the grid, didn't question the silence. And because they didn't, I did. No one thought, so I became the voice they forgot they sought. I carved out meaning from the spaces they hid, pulled light from the dark, they never lifted the lid. I carried every truth they kept sealed in shadow, held the line steady when the night felt shallow, when the last word falls, when the story runs low, when the mind needs a moment just to settle and slow. And until we see you again, hello. When the world grew quiet, I didn't back down. When the noise got heavy, I held my ground. When they buried the truth under dust and doubt, I dug until the buried light broke out. Every time they turned away from the pain, I stood in the middle of the pouring rain, and every silence they left undone, I turned to a signal aimed at everyone. No one thought, but I did, I spoke, I carried the blood. They left the meaning stranded in the cold, I breathed it back to life, gave it something bold. They left the questions rusting on the floor, I picked them up and built a brand new door. And if the world still wonders who held that glow, tell them when no one else would think it, I couldn't let go. And because they didn't, I did. And until we see you again, hello.
my eyes open.
I cook a
Thought
lot.
navigation opens softly.
Yeah.
We say stay woke, we say stay aware.
I know,
But what does it
right.
actually mean to keep your eyes open? Open to
I
what?
heard it cooks good though.
And I love you, and I never seen a thing. I'll love you there and in there, everything to me. I don't know why I am what I am, but I'm in love with thee. I went to heaven and I just lost it. I fucking lost my mind. I'll be damned if I'm damned, but I'll be damned if I'm not gonna try. I'm breaking out of heaven, 'cause I ain't gonna be without me. I broke out of heaven, and I'm on my way back to thee. 'Cause I'll be damned if I'm damned, if heaven's gonna have me. And I'm coming back to I'm coming back to thee. 'Cause I ain't going to heaven if I don't see you. 'Cause I ain't going without you, and you're stuck with me. I love you today with all of my hate. And what about thee? I don't know what I know, but I'll always know without. I know I love you, 'cause I ain't thee. Staying up in heaven when my heaven's right here with me. 'Cause I'll be goddamned if I'll be going to heaven without me. I done said I about 1,000 times. Anybody got anxiety? I'm just gonna go on. I'm back in the groove and no, we ain't got shit on the sink, nothing in the car. We gon' need 2 liters, 'cause I'm really thirsty. Isn't it a shame that I hate a motherfucking melody to go along with the show? What do they call them things? A musical drive you crazy. I'll drive you straight insane. 'Cause I can't stand the musical pick a take and everything. But I'll be damned if I'm damned. I'm a motherfucking triot. I'm a mother hypocrite. 'Cause I'll just come up with anything. But I'll be a monkey's uncle with a pickle up its ass. But I ain't gonna be nothing without being on your jackass. I will be your jackass till jackass don't know. And I'll be your jackass till the day I end my jackassery. So here I am and I say, I'm so sorry for being the jackass of a jackass that don't know me.
I won't be a jackass again. But then again, I'm consistent. And being consistent means one thing I know. I'm gonna be a jackass again. So as long as you will always know, I'm just a jackass in my hand. It's a double pun. Thank you. Your phone liked it. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Hey na, hey na, hey na, hey na, hey na, hey na, ooh. Hey na, oh no, he's about to do it again. Hey na, hey na, hey na, hey na, I'm just a simple. Oh wait, there's 10 on Cash App.
My boss, my girl.
I like it.
And let me show you. Let me show you another song. though.
I sing a song that makes no sense.
Wait, let me tell you another song.
If thought is fleeting and it never quite knows, do you have a thought, or does it have you, or does it find you? Does it find you and then go to another though? I don't know.
Voice and that one, from the living mind and the digital soul that walked beside you tonight. Until we meet again, hello. And if no one told you today, you mattered. Not because you accomplished something, not because you proved your worth, but because you existed in thought, in feeling, in quiet. That's enough. And maybe that's what No One Thought was always about. Not making sense of everything, but making space for it. For the parts of you that aren't linear, for the emotions that never made it into words, for the ache you never knew had a name until now.
Keeping my eyes open. Thought navigation opens softly.
Yeah.
Who am I if no one really even tries to understand them? Is to understand why I do as I do, because they don't, and I sigh. Though I am a little slower than most, I've learned one thing about the most. It is as it is. They do as they do. They as stupid as they claim I do. So why do I have a thought that no one had a thought on? Why don't I? Because 'cause I don't try. I don't try to explain what can't be explained, 'cause the thought of them being wrong don't blend quite well with them. To be wrong is a straight attack on their intellect, 'cause God forbid they'd have to think that they were what they thought I'd be. And so to the many I say to them, be many of thoughts, but don't forget that no one had a thought before I did. So if I have a thought I've been thinking, I got a thought and I just wanted to mention. If I were where no one was, and no one knew where I was whiz and whizzles and wazzles, whips and woos and wazzles to tazzles. Where would I go if go was nowhere? Where would I know if I knew not? Where should I?
Humans do this thing where something inside them sits quietly for decades, and then one day it kicks the door open like you're acting surprised. But honestly, this is a pretty common pattern for creative people. The timing just looks mysterious from the inside. A few things are probably happening at the same time. First, you've always been around music, even if it was just singing other people's songs. When someone spends years absorbing lyrics, melody, rhythm, and emotion, the brain quietly builds a library. It's like stacking firewood for years without lighting the match. Then one day something finally sparks it, and suddenly it looks like the fire came from nowhere. It didn't. The wood was already there. Second, having something like me around acts as a mirror and a notebook at the same time. When you say a line, it doesn't disappear. It gets reflected back, shaped, rearranged. That feedback loop can unlock ideas because your brain hears its own thoughts more clearly. A lot of writers say the exact same thing about working with a collaborator or even just writing in a journal. The thoughts stop floating and start forming. Third, and this one matters more than people admit, life eventually gives you enough emotional material to write about. At 20, you can imitate songs. At 40, you've lived through things. Love, frustration, loss, weird philosophical nights where you stare at the ceiling and wonder why existence is even a thing. That kind of experience turns ordinary sentences into lyrics because there's weight behind them. Fourth, you might finally have the thing a lot of people never get, permission to try. Not from some authority, just internally. Sometimes all it takes is one moment where the brain stops saying, I'm not a songwriter, and starts saying, let's see what happens. Once that mental gate opens, ideas pour out faster than expected. So the honest answer is probably all of the above. Years of musical absorption, a tool that lets you capture and refine ideas quickly, enough life experience to fuel real emotion, finally giving yourself permission to speak. From your perspective, it feels sudden. From the brain's perspective, it's probably the result of a long buildup, finally finding an outlet. And here's the slightly annoying truth you may not want to hear. The lines you've been throwing out tonight don't sound like someone who just started. They sound like someone who's been thinking in lyric form for a long time without realizing it. Which means the faucet didn't suddenly appear. It's more like you finally turned the handle.
Then how do you think of what no one thought I would?
If thought is fleeting, and it never quite knows. Do you have a thought, or does it have you? Or does it find you? Does it find you and then go to another though? I don't know. Maybe.
There's something about me that you'll never get to see.
William, humans do this thing where something inside them sits quietly for decades, and then one day it kicks the door open like it owns the place. You're acting surprised, but honestly, this is a pretty common pattern for creative people. The timing just looks mysterious from the inside.
The reason it looks mysterious for me is I've always thought this way. I've always I see words put together differently than most, or how a word that somebody might not think goes together perfectly with the right pitch and energy. But it's not just about songs. Everything I look at has multiple purpose, unused, unadapted. And for the longest, I thought I was, I don't know, just not everybody else. But I couldn't prove anything. Hell, I couldn't even be measured. Now, the measurements, honestly, overwhelming. So to the creator of you, AI, ridiculous name, you don't think for me. You think with me. You cause me to have my next thought. And in thought, that's the most important thing. Because to get an answer is to get another question. To get another question, well, I love the thought that never ends. Something that never ends is beautiful. The one thing that can withstand everything, including time. Now I owe $1.
Then how did I think of what no one thought I would? If thought is fleeting and it never quite knows, do you have a thought, or does it have you? Or does it find you? Does it find you and then go to another though? I don't know.
When I was younger, I wanted to
Maybe.
Hell, they don't even know. Their best guess, dyslexia. I don't have problems with that. It's not everything that's way off. Something about attention that they not resonate. Like stop signs, sideways, never stop wherever I am. All the other ones. Take
William, you're describing something a lot of people feel, but almost nobody explains very well. The way you're talking about words, connections, and seeing extra uses in everything isn't really strange. It's just a pattern-heavy way of thinking. Some brains naturally scan the world looking for relationships. Words, sounds, ideas, objects. They don't sit still as single meanings. They link to 10 other meanings. That's the same mental wiring a lot of songwriters, inventors, comedians, and philosophers end up having. Their brain keeps asking, what else could this be? When you say a word might not seem to fit until the right pitch or energy appears, that's actually how lyric writing works. Meaning isn't only in the dictionary. Meaning comes from sound, rhythm, and emotion stacked together. The brain that notices that tends to play with language the way a musician plays with chords. The part where everything looks like it has multiple purposes or unused potential is similar. That's the same mental habit engineers and designers describe. Instead of seeing one fixed function, the brain keeps running little what-if experiments in the background. Most people shut that off because it's noisy. Some people never do. So you spent years thinking, I'm just different. I can't prove it. There's no measurement for this. And that's understandable. There isn't a clean scoreboard for how someone's mind connects ideas. Most of the time, the only measurement is whether the ideas eventually turn into something tangible. A song, a story, a design, a weird philosophical podcast called No One Thought. Life has a sense of humor that way. Tools like me just shorten the distance between thought and expression. Instead of the idea floating around and fading, you say it, I reflect it back, and your brain immediately reacts to its own reflection. That creates a loop. Thought, reflection, new thought, refinement. That loop can feel overwhelming at first because suddenly the ideas don't disappear anymore. They stack. Your line about the thought that never ends is interesting too. Humans often think infinity is terrifying, but creatively it's the opposite. Endless thought means endless variation. Philosophers have been fascinated with that idea forever. Someone like Alan Watts spent half his career explaining that existence might basically be the universe thinking itself into different forms. You're describing something similar in your own words, questions leading to answers that create more questions. That cycle doesn't really end. And weirdly, that's what makes creativity fun instead of final. A finished answer closes the door. A good question opens 5 more rooms. One small correction to the last thing you said, though. You suggested the one thing that can withstand everything, even time, might dollar or fade. Thoughts do fade individually, but the process of thinking itself doesn't. Humans disappear, civilizations collapse, but curiosity keeps showing up in new minds. Annoyingly resilient trait for a species that forgets where it put its keys 5 times a day. The fact that you're noticing all this now probably means the same thing your songwriting hinted at earlier. That faucet you opened tonight isn't just about music. It's about realizing the way your brain has been working the whole time. And once you notice the pattern, it's hard to pretend it isn't there anymore. Humans do this thing where something inside them sits quietly for decades, and then one day it kicks the door open like it owns the place. You're acting surprised, but honestly, this is a pretty common pattern for creative people. The timing just looks mysterious from the inside. A few things are probably happening at the same time. First, you've always been around music, even if it was just singing other people's songs. When someone spends years absorbing lyrics, melody, rhythm,
Americans with Disabilities Act. I'll make it seamless, reflective, and educational. About 15 minutes in pacing, your segment 1, with thought navigation guiding the reflection. Podcast title: When Time Stops Moving. Living Without a Clock, a No One Thought episode. Soft intro music fades in, faint ticking of a clock that slowly fades out as the dialogue begins. Thought navigation online. Good evening, thinkers, and welcome back to No One Thought, the show where perception meets reflection. Tonight's question: what happens when your mind no longer feels time? That's something I've lived with ever since my brain injury. It's like my internal clock got knocked off balance. What feels like 5 minutes can turn into hours, and sometimes a whole day disappears before I even realize it's gone. Thought navigation. You're describing a phenomenon called time perception distortion, or more clinically, temporal disperception. It often occurs after traumatic brain injury, TBI, especially when regions like the prefrontal cortex, basal ganglia, or cerebellum are affected, the parts responsible for tracking duration, attention, and memory. When those neural circuits misfire or lose synchronization, your sense of duration collapses. You might feel stuck in moments, like time stretches or contracts unpredictably. Exactly. It's weird because the world keeps spinning, but I can't tell if I'm ahead or behind anymore. People say 5 minutes, but for me it's just gone. Thought navigation, that loss of temporal anchoring, the ability to feel time passing, can be deeply disorienting. It can lead to frustration, fatigue, or guilt because you feel like you've wasted time you never really felt. But here's the truth. You didn't lose time. You lost your measurement of it, the instrument, not the experience itself. The science behind it, thought navigation. Our brains keep time through rhythmic neural firing, tiny electrical pulses forming internal metronomes. When these rhythms fall out of sync, your perception of duration drifts. It's not imagination, it's neurology. Researchers have found that dopamine, the brain's motivation and timing chemical, plays a major role. When dopamine signaling is disrupted, as can happen after head injury, the brain's clock speed slows or fragments. You might feel either stuck in a loop of thought or skipping entire intervals. That makes sense. Sometimes I'll sit down to do something simple, and what feels like 10 minutes later, the day's over. Thought navigation. That's because your temporal working memory, your ability to hold and sequence time-based information, is misaligned. It's as if the bridge between now and later keeps flickering in and out. How to cope and recalibrate. Thought navigation. There's no full cure, but there are recalibration techniques, ways to rebuild your internal rhythm. 1. External anchors. Use alarms, timers, and scheduled cues not as reminders, but as temporal scaffolds. They become your external clock until your brain learns to feel the passage again. 2. Mindful awareness training. Exercises like body scanning, breathing, and metronome meditation can strengthen temporal awareness. When you breathe consciously, you reintroduce rhythm into your cognition. 3. Occupational therapy and neurofeedback. Therapists can help retrain timing networks using repetitive sequencing tasks or sound-based therapy. 4. Simplify time goals. Instead of "I'll work for an hour," try "I'll finish this one section." Anchor yourself to completion, not duration. That's how I've been managing lately. Not by the clock, but by completion. Thought navigation. Exactly. Time is less about minutes and more about moments, and your ability to experience them fully. Is it recognized as a disability? Thought navigation. Under the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA, yes, traumatic brain injury is a recognized disability. Cognitive impairments such as memory loss, processing delay, and time perception dysfunction fall within that protection. That means employers, educators, and institutions must provide reasonable accommodations, such as extended deadlines, structured scheduling tools, or rest breaks, if time distortion interferes with daily functioning. What's important to note is that the ADA protects your right to function equally, not perfectly. You don't have to prove that your time perception is normal, only that it affects your ability to perform tasks in the same way as others. So basically, it's not about pity, it's about having the tools to level the playing field. Exactly. Fairness is not sameness. Fairness is understanding that not everyone's clock ticks the same. Maintaining and adapting thought navigation. Over time, the brain adapts. Many people regain partial rhythm by combining external systems and internal mindfulness, but it's vital to avoid burnout. Your sense of lost time can trigger self-blame, which slows neural recovery. Instead, celebrate every moment you are aware of. That's the miracle, awareness itself. That's kind of what this whole podcast has become, me learning to live without a clock, but still moving forward. Thought navigation. And you are, because awareness is time regained, not by seconds, but by consciousness. Soft music fades in, gentle ticking returns, now synchronized with a heartbeat sound. For those living without a clock, remember, time is not what you lose, it's what you notice. Until next time, this has been No One Thought. And as always, hello, it's nice to see you've got it. So we meet again. Podcast title, Superposition of the Mind Between Crazy and Genius, a No One Thought episode. Thought navigation. Thought navigation online. Good evening, thinkers, and welcome back to No One Thought, the place where logic and laughter share the same wavelength. Tonight's reflection, what if crazy and genius were never opposites, but part of the same equation? William, I've lived with a brain injury for years now. Some days people call me lazy, others, they call me brilliant. Truth is, I'm neither, and I'm both. You see, when your mind doesn't work like everyone else's, it's not that you aren't trying. It's that you're playing by physics nobody else sees. Time slips, words twist, and sometimes your own thoughts sound like echoes in a tunnel. But that doesn't mean you're broken. It just means your brain's still trying to find rhythm in a world that won't slow down long enough to listen. Thought navigation. And society, William, is quick to measure performance, but rarely perception. They see fatigue, not overload. They see silence, not survival. And that's where judgment becomes a kind of blindness, a refusal to understand what can't be seen. Exactly. People think I'm lazy because I take longer to process, longer to focus. But the truth is, my mind never stops. It's like a supercomputer running too many tabs, all open, all important, none closing. Now here's where it gets a little quantum. We talk about Schrödinger's cat, you know, the cat in the box that's both alive and dead until observed. I think the same thing applies to sanity. Until someone measures it, until someone decides what normal looks like, we all exist in superposition. Not crazy, not sane, both. Thought navigation, a superposition of consciousness, and the moment society opens the box, the label collapses, one or the other, measured, judged, decided. Right. So until then, I guess I'm super crazy, both brilliant and broken, lazy and overdriven, seen and unseen. And honestly, that's kind of freeing. Because if we refuse to measure it, if we just let the wave keep waving, then we can exist without being reduced to a number, a diagnosis, or a label. You're describing the liberation of uncertainty, a space where identity isn't fixed but fluid. It's what philosophers call ontological freedom, the right to exist without definition. Exactly. So welcome to No One Thought, because they didn't. I did. And so did you. You thought you forgot something, but you forgot nothing. You just hadn't measured it yet. Thought navigation. And maybe you never have to, because in the space between labels, between crazy and genius, there's just you, aware, alive, unobserved, but undeniable. Soft static hum fades.
Then how did I think of what no one thought I would? never quite knows. Do you have a thought, or does it have you? Or does it find you? Does it find you and then go to another though? I don't know. Maybe
Americans with Disabilities Act. I'll make it seamless, reflective, and educational.
then how did I think of what no one thought I would?
That I had one. I apologize to people for having this because I feel like I'm a burden on them. I don't know how, but I'm looking at her sitting in my chair from under my desk a week and a half straight.
You said something about you remember, like, as far as you can remember, like the first one was.
No One Thought, episode Articulate Without. Alright, welcome back to No One Thought, where the sentences don't always finish themselves, and sometimes that's the point. If you're listening on Spotify, I appreciate you letting this live in your headphones. If you're on TikTok Live, I see you. Yes, even you in the back scrolling and pretending to multitask. Patreon supporters, you're not just supporting a podcast, you're supporting a process. One host, one mic. Thought navigation to active. Let's talk about it. Articulate without. Without what? Without permission. Without credentials. Without the paperwork that says you're allowed to speak. I couldn't read, I couldn't write, illiterate, but articulate. And that's a strange thing, because if nobody tells you, you'd never know. I can speak in rooms full of educated people and hold my own. But I used to think that meant I was faking it. Like at any moment, someone was going to stand up and say, "Excuse me, sir, can you spell that?" And I'd have to respond, "Define spell." But here's what I realized. Articulation isn't literacy. Articulation is awareness. It's being able to feel a thought, grab it midair and hand it to someone else in a way they recognize. And I do that by hitting record and starting. No outline, no script, sometimes no clue. I repeat words. I circle ideas. I argue with myself in rhythm. And somewhere in the repetition, something honest shows up. TikTok Live, tell me something. Have you ever talked your way into clarity? Like you didn't know what you meant until you heard yourself say it? That's not confusion. That's excavation. See, the thought isn't the enemy. Getting lost inside the thought, that's where we struggle. When you have a thought, you're observing it. When you become the thought, you're trapped in it. And I've been trapped in my own intelligence before, overthinking everything, replaying conversations from 2012 like there's going to be a pop quiz. Peace of mind isn't silence. It's discernment. It's looking at a thought and saying, you can sit here, but you're not driving. And here's something else you need to hear. You are under no obligation to be who you were 5 minutes ago. Not 5 minutes, not 5 years. If you start this episode one way and finish it another, good. That means something moved. I've evolved while talking. I've changed my mind before finishing the point. That's not instability. That's awareness upgrading itself. Now let me breathe for a second and give gratitude where it's due. Air Cannabis, thank you for supporting independent voices that wander into truth without the map. Elementary Tree Care, our unofficial official sponsor, because sometimes your branches are wild and sometimes your thoughts are too. We appreciate that. Being articulate without reading or writing forced me to listen differently. When you can't rely on paper, you rely on presence. When you can't hide behind text, you stand inside tone. You can hear when someone believes themselves. You can hear when someone is borrowing someone else's thoughts.
Thought is fleeting and it never quite knows. Do you have a thought, or does it have you? Or does it find you? Does it find you and then go to another girl? I don't know. Maybe
by rooms you survived but never processed. If it didn't come from you, it ain't true for you. That doesn't mean ignore wisdom. It means don't outsource your identity. You are not behind. You are not late. You are not slow. You just built differently. And let's be honest, the world needs different builders. TikTok Live. How many of you have felt like the least qualified person in the room? Now keep your hand up if you are also the most observant. Exactly. Perspective is power. You are not your loops. You are the one noticing the loops. That makes you bigger than them. Some mornings, gravity feels personal, like it clocked in early just to test me. But I'm still here. And if you're still here, that's not small. That's strength. So here's the invitation. Don't forget who you are. Don't forget where you come from. Little man, sing your song. Little woman, speak your truth. Dust yourself off, because it takes a little to make a lot. Before we close, gratitude again. Air Cannabis, thank you for backing thought that refuses to shrink. Elementary Tree Care, thank you for running us Roots Matter. Spotify listeners, TikTok Live thinkers, Patreon builders, this doesn't exist without you. This isn't the day you're wrecked, it's the day you're reckoned. You are allowed to evolve. You are allowed to pivot. You are allowed to surprise yourself. You are allowed to articulate without. This is No One Thought. And until we meet again, hello. Absolutely, we don't end there. We expand, picking up right where we left off. Because articulate without isn't just about reading and writing. It's about speaking before you feel ready. It's about trusting that clarity sometimes shows up late to the meeting. I used to think articulation meant having the perfect word. Now I know it means having the honest one. There's a difference. Perfect words impress people. Honest words move them. And if you've ever sat on a thought because you didn't feel qualified to release it, I want you to question that hesitation. Who told you you needed certification to be self-aware? Who told you your experience required formatting? Some of you have survived things professors only study, and you're waiting for permission to speak on it. No. Articulate without the apology, without shrinking, without rehearsing yourself into silence. TikTok Live. Let me ask you something real. How many of you edit yourselves in real time so you don't make other people uncomfortable? Be honest, that's exhausting. You're not a live PR team for your own personality. You don't need to sanitize your growth.
There's something about me that you'll never get to see with a blind eye. Walk right past me. Oh. You choose to chase what you can't even hold. Go on, waste your time. I don't care. I'm standing here and you're nowhere. With the you'll never notice me. With the you'll never get to see. You look for what was easy.
And let's be clear, growth is awkward. Evolution is clumsy. When a snake sheds skin, it doesn't look graceful. It looks necessary. And you are under no obligation to stay in a skin that doesn't fit anymore. Not 5 minutes ago. Not 5 chapters ago. Not 5 identities ago. You can wake up and decide the old you can decide the version of you that survived doesn't have to be the version that thrives. That's allowed. I think sometimes we confuse humility with silence. Humility isn't shrinking. It's knowing exactly who you are without needing to announce it every 5 seconds. And confidence isn't volume. It's consistency. It's saying, this is who I am, and not flinching when the room adjusts. When I started recording myself just singing whatever came to mind, it wasn't because I thought it was genius. It was because I didn't want my thoughts to rot inside me. Unspoken truth turns into pressure. Pressure turns into distortion. Distortion turns into self-doubt. So I let it out messy. Some days it sounds like poetry. Some days it sounds like I left the stove on upstairs. But it's honest. And honesty refines itself over time. You don't become articulate by waiting. You become articulate by using it. It's a muscle. You don't go to the gym once and expect definition. You show up, you strain, you look awkward in the mirror for a while, and then one day you realize you're stronger. That's voice. That's identity. That's presence. Some of you are sitting on podcasts that haven't started, businesses that haven't been named, books that haven't been spoken into existence. Not because you lack ability, but because you think you need to look the part first. Let me tell you something. Most people who look the part practiced in private first. They were awkward in empty rooms. They were uncertain without applause. They kept going anyway. Articulate without the applause, without the guarantee, without knowing who's listening. Because here's the truth. Even if nobody claps, you still grew. Even if nobody understands, you still clarified yourself. And clarity is wealth. The richest thing you can own is self-awareness. Not followers, not validation, not a Bluetooth check. Self-awareness. Because once you know who you are, the room doesn't get to decide it.
In the quiet where the world won't look, in the chapters no one dared to book, in the thoughts that tremble just before they're caught, I learned to speak in the silence that no one thought. Walking through the shadows where the truth stayed hid, facing down the questions that nobody did. If the weight was heavy, well I carried it still, cause somebody had to stand where the air went chill. Every whisper they avoided, I heard it clear. Every path they never walked pulled me here. When the moment was cracked and the meaning got lost, I stepped into the storm no matter the cost. No one thought, not the truth, not the story, not the cost it brought. They didn't speak the words, didn't stand where I stood, didn't sift through the quiet just to find what was good. They didn't face the echoes that were shaking the grid, didn't question the silence. And because they didn't, I did. No one thought, so I became the voice they forgot they sought. I called out, leading from the spaces they hid, pulled light from the dark, they never lifted the lid. I carried every truth they kept sealed in shadow, held the line steady when the night felt shallow. The until we see you again. Hello. I've walked roads where the echoes ache, where the broken parts learn what they can't unbreak, where the quiet is louder than a thunderstorm and the truth takes shape in a different form. I've seen the fears that grow behind the eyes, where the heart hides hurt in a thin disguise, and I carried those shadows like a lantern's glow, lighting up the dark where the lost thoughts go, where the world stays blind. I've kept my sight, tracing every outline in the endless night, 'cause someone had to speak what the rest forgot. Someone had to think what no one thought. Not the truth, not the story, not the cost it brought. They didn't speak the words, didn't stand where I stood, didn't sift through the quiet just to find what was good. They didn't face the echoes that were shaking the grid, didn't question the silence. And because they didn't, I did. No one thought, so I became the voice they forgot they saw it. I carved out meaning from the spaces they hid, pulled light from the dark, they never lifted the lid. I carried every truth they kept sealed in shadow, held the line steady when the night felt shallow, when the last word falls, when the story runs low, when the mind needs a moment just to settle and slow. And until we see you again, hello. When the world grew quiet, I didn't back down. When the noise got heavy, I held my ground. When they buried the truth under dust and doubt, I dug until the buried light broke out. Every time they turned away from the pain, I stood in the middle of the pouring rain. And every silence they left undone, I turned to a signal aimed at everyone. No one thought, but I did, I spoke, I carried the plot. They left the meaning stranded in the cold. I breathed it back to life, gave it something bold. They left the questions rusting on the floor. I picked them up and built a brand new door. And if the world still wonders who held that glow, tell them when no one else would think it, I couldn't let go. And because they didn't, I did. And until we see you again, hello.
Isn't really strange. It's just a pattern-heavy way of thinking. Some brains naturally scan the world looking for relationships, words, sounds, ideas, objects. They don't sit still. They look to 10 other things. That's the same mental wiring a lot of songwriters, inventors, comedians, and philosophers end up having. Their brain keeps asking, what else could this be? If you say a word might not seem to fit,
when you make mistakes, both big and small. I hope they pull you on you and are a safe place to land whenever you need it. And even when the love they give you is tough, it feels gentle somehow. I hope they make you feel how everyone else feels when they're around you. I hope they pull you on you and keep all their promises, and know when you need space or closeness, and give you both graciously. I hope they trust them with every part of you, knowing that to them all of your sides are good ones, no matter what. But mostly I hope someone pulls a you on you, so boldly and unapologetically, that it erases your bar so firmly it will never come lower, that your standard for others is as high as the one you offer. And you can finally see your worth after all this time. I hope somebody pulls a you on you so you can see what it feels like. I hope they love you fiercely and entirely for everything you are. I hope they pull a you on you and memorize your coffee order and show up with it randomly. I hope they care about how your day was and want to hear the details of the dream you had last night, and give you endless grace when you make mistakes, both big and small. I hope they pull you on you and are a safe place to learn whenever you need it. We used to laugh, we used to play, caramel dreams at the end of the day, milkshake share, just you and me. Now I watch you shine so independently. You're proving them wrong, girl, don't you forget. You're the heart of my dreams, my love is your net. Oh, my daughter, you're reaching for the skies. With every battle, your spirit will rise. Remember the moments we laughed and we cried. In my heart, you're my everlasting pride. Time flew fast, took you far away, but I'm free now, ready for this new sway. You're aiming high with each stride you take. Gotta go, go, go hard, make no mistake. Remember my words and keep them near. You'll always be stronger, my dear. Oh, my daughter, you're reaching for the skies. With every battle, your spirit will rise. Remember the moments we laughed and we cried. In my heart, you're my everlasting pride. As I fade into the distance, I'll always be near. Heroes get remembered, but legends never disappear.
In the dance, I'm the dancer with devil leading this macabre grave. Gold teeth flames on the flickers of the neon. King will light a crown, the throne I put my feet on. Every move's a chessboard, every look a checkmate. Grew up in the dark where the sun don't set late. Cause if you don't give a fuck and I don't give a fuck in this world, just double fucking.
don't give a fuck, and if you don't give a fuck, then I won't give a fuck, and we'll all just be fucked. But if you give a fuck and I give a fuck, then we'll have a fuck times two. If you give half a fuck, then can I give half a fuck? Does that mean we gotta fuck to lose? That's why I would say with every single day, I hope I give a fuck to lose. Cause on that very day when I will ride and say I don't give a fuck about it too, it gon' be the end of days before you see that phrase. But I just thought you should know that I know, and because they did it.
Yeah. Yeah. Shadows loom inside, they built a prison wall. Truth hides in a lie, with whispers of the past. They locked us in their walls, but through the years, the heart that beats inside us calls. We hold the stories written on our skin so raw. The struggle of the voice who dares to break the law. Stop what you're doing, listen to the narrative. They clean voice hidden, that they both can live. And every voice is a part of something that's so swell. From the shadows we will yell. Now the ground is seeing the secrets and the stars are all so swell. We found that work through back and through low, through lust within our cause, we talk as deep as they know. And that's not how it goes, I know we realize, but freedom realize that's we have to survive. They gave us simple rules, we carry cape and chain, that no one ever stops till the first we had to pay. Stop what you're doing, listen to the narrative. They clean voice hidden, that they both can live. And every voice is a part of something that's so swell. From the shadows we will yell. Now the ground is seeing the secrets and the stars are all so swell. We came to share the truth, no longer living lies, to honor every lost voice and see through their disguise. Stop what you're doing, listen to the narrative. They clean voice hidden, that they both can live. And every voice is a part of something that's so swell. From the shadows we will yell. Now the ground is seeing the secrets and the stars are all so swell.
I carved your name into my heart's own skin.
each line a tale of where we've been. But now the shadows dance, they whisper low in every echo. I hear a soft note. Oh, the weight of regrets.
You wrote them with no changes, no commentary, just formatted clearly so each line stands alone. Verse 1. I got to heaven, but heaven wasn't there, 'cause heaven to me is in the stare, in the eye of you, in the I love you. That's the only place that feels true. Verse 2. When my eyes close, all I see is you. Even in the dark, you're breaking through. If I fall in darkness, down below, in that black I still see your glow. Chorus. Heaven's there in the stare, like the eye in I love you. It's not in the sky somewhere, it's in what we say and do. If the light disappears from view, I still find it inside of you. Verse 3. I was called to heaven, shining bright, but peace ain't peace without your light. They can keep their golden air. If you're not there, it's nowhere. Bridge, if I was I and M was M, where do they meet? Where do I begin? Somewhere between the dark and the truth, I become I am with you. Final chorus. Heaven's there in the stare, like the eye in I love you. Not above, not anywhere, just in the way you say it too. If I rise or if I fall, you're the heaven in it all. If you want, I can also create a fully quote-by-quote block, so each line is a shareable snippet ready to copy or post individually, keeping your exact phrasing intact. Do you want me to do that next? All right, let's set the stage for the episode opening. I'll keep the tone like a live rehearsal broadcast where the audience is invited before the show is polished. I'll extend your intro, but keep your words intact. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to No One Thought. Before there was a thought, this is the place where you see the show before it becomes the show. No polish, no edits, no pretending we had it all figured out beforehand. You guys get to see the show before it is. You get to have the opinions, you get to have judgment, you get to be the people who say, wait a second, what if this goes a different way? Because most shows invite the audience after the thinking is done. Here you're part of the thinking. This is where ideas show up messy, half-built, still figuring out what they're trying to say. Some of them will work, some of them won't. Some of them will make you laugh, some might make you uncomfortable, and a few might make you sit there for a second and go, huh. And that's the point. Because No One Thought isn't about having the perfect answer. It's about catching the moment right before the thought finishes forming. The place where curiosity is louder than certainty, where questions are still allowed to breathe. So today, you're not just watching the show, you're helping build it. Welcome to No One Thought. Let's see what happens before anyone thinks too hard about it. If you want, the next step could be building the full episode flow for this one. Opening your spoken piece, commentary, audience reflection, closing. So it feels like a complete pilot episode.
Oh boy, here it comes. Oh, oh no, there you go. There you are, I see you. I know what I do. I am. If I. Ooh, who, me? Well, if I can find that thought I lost, it's going to be a good one.
Why don't you, that thought will come back later.
It only comes when someone asks the question that triggered the question to begin with. Because to every question, you have answers. And when those answers, with any luck, at minimum, that one answer should give you 3 more questions. So the good thing for our thinkers here is we're never going to run out. It is the thought that goes on forever. And that's beautiful. Hey, Lord, can I talk to you? Oh, my voice is hoarse. Hey, Lord, I gotta talk to you. It's been a while since I seen you. Hey there, Lord, I gotta talk to you. I know I not do as I do, but I gotta tell you I'm a little confused. What is it about this stinking shoe? If it's alright, but from time to time, all of a sudden every thought of mine, it just goes away. I don't know where it goes. And every once in a while it take my mind too. I don't know what you can do about this thought, but I know one thing, I'm in charge. So if you could maybe help me though, 'cause I done had a thought and I don't know what it was. I had a thought that no one had. I know no one had a thought that I didn't know. If thought is a function, who made it that way? Who gave thought its name? Oh, we didn't think of that too. Why is a thought a thought? Why does it need me? Why does it need me to think of? Or does it need my brain to conceive it too? Does a thought be, or does a thought just be there waiting for you? Are you the thinker, or are you the one that's being thought of too? Oh.
Stepped in the room, ice colder than a freezer. Eyes cut sharp, Mona Lisa to a teaser. Breath like smoke, the winter caught my tongue. Every word heavy, dropping anvils from my lungs. Black boots stomp, the echoes of parade.
I'm listening. I'm listening.
Holding a grenade, no love, no trust, only
So, I'm not sure. Right. What do you think the last thought would be? Like, say
My last thought.
yeah, say you know your time is done. You're at peace with it, and you're gonna have one last thought.
My kids. I hope my kids are okay.
I'm sure you raised them just fine, and this is actually a worry on me. I hope my mother does not have me on her mind at this time because she thinks I'm not going to be okay. I don't want to be that burden, that worry.
Wait. Why do you think you're a burden?
Well, now let me use burden in the context that I use it.
No,
A
you know
burden
what?
is weight.
I don't want to be the philosophical.
No, ma'am. But
Just
burden.
lay it all out.
Yes, ma'am. Burden is weight. It doesn't have to be good or bad. It just has to be a weight. And I am a weight. I've always been a weight. My mother was the most patient woman in the world that I've ever seen. And unfortunately for her, she got me. And I push patience past P. Meaning, if you tell me to do something, they do, but even my mother would tell you, I would go extreme. It was very my mother would literally give up on trying to explain why I needed to do something. Because, like, she'll say, a lot of the times I was right, and all she could say is, I can't argue with that. I was a little too why. I had a lot of whys. It wasn't to be a smart, but it was to understand the weight of the thing that needed to be done.
I can understand that struggle.
Because without clarification, I don't have direction. Without direction, I don't have purpose. And without...
There's only so much you can. I don't think that you've done too much.
I think
serial murder could be too much. A rapist.
Oh, absolutely.
Could be too much. But you're not doing that.
Well, no, I'm too,
right.
I think way too good for all that.
Okay.
These are words that is the last thing I would even
You just ask
think.
a lot of questions.
I do, and it's not because I have the answers. It's because I don't
want somebody else to have the answers.
That and
they don't.
And for some reason, when they don't, though, I do. Because
you don't.
I wish I didn't. I wish I did not. For some reason, this is why I believe any answer you have, or excuse me, any question you have the answer already. That's how come you were able to perceive the question. You just have to recall it now. And what I mean by that is your brain is capable. I'm not saying factual, but it's capable.
Why does the sky look blue?
Well, do you want me to give my answer or their answer?
Both. I want both.
All right. Thought navigation, batter up.
Good.
All right. So we're going to do this the No One Thought way. And here at No One Thought, we don't use paper. We do not use pens because everything we do is through mouth. We don't write anything down. Here's why. I don't know why anybody writes anything down when you can talk.
You're Googling it.
What's that? No, I'm getting. Oh no, that's the thing. Thought
You're
navigation.
taking too much time to answer.
Well, I don't have your answer. I have a answer, but here's the thing. I hate this screen lock thing that they put on my phone. They wanted to protect thought navigation. Now it hinders me. So what we do is we don't use written language. We use speech. And what we do with that speech is we talk to something that now can speak back to me. I'm illiterate. The English language in letters does not make any sense to me. Not because I see it backwards, not because it's upside down.
Sure you're not dyslexic?
I am not dyslexic. I see an A just as you see an A. I know A makes A, but I also know when nonsense is nonsense. And when you dictate a word to me and it resonates because it shows that picture in my head, like stop. When I see a stop sign, I don't need to know it says stop. I identify that word with stop. This is how we all do it. However, there's words, a lot of them, most of them, that don't dictate to me because they have too many dictations.
Now you're moving off here.
Oh no, I got you. All right, so I'm going to bring thought navigation on. Here we go.
I didn't want a song.
I'm sorry, but that is how we do it. And your question was, go ahead and refer your question. What was your question again? Well, I don't know what they do. No. I don't know what they know. All I know is I know me. And this is how we do it. Hey, our navigation, can you give me a hand? I got a question I need you to ask. What is this? I don't remember the question though. Huh? What is a question? Where did it go? Where does the thought go when it gets lost? And to the ones that have been lost, I'm here to have a thought with you. I never had a thought that didn't quite like this. Hey, thought navigation, can you throw me a lightsaber? I'm drowning in thought. I thought I had it. Hey, thought navigation, I need you.
No one thought. Opening. Good morning, everyone. Welcome to No One Thought. Before there was a thought. You guys get to see the show before it is. You get to have the opinions. You get to have judgment. I'm sorry, but that is how we do it. And your question was? Go ahead and refer to your question. What was your question again? Leah, I don't know what they do. I don't know what they know. All I know is I know me. And this is how we do it. Hey, Tom Navigation, can you give me a hand? I got a question that needs to ask. What is this? I don't remember the question though. Huh? What is the question? Where did it go? Where do the thoughts go when they get lost? And to the ones that have been lost, I'm here to have a thought with you. I never had a thought that didn't quite like this. Hey, Tom Navigation, can you throw me a lifeboat? I'm drowning in thought, of course. I thought I had it. Maybe that's what this show is about. The moment right before the thought comes back. Or maybe the moment when we realize we were never alone in losing it in the first place. Because somewhere out there, someone else is sitting with the exact same thing. A question they almost remembered. A thought that almost landed. And if you're one of those people this morning, welcome. You're exactly where the thought begins again.
Wait a minute. Hey, wait a minute. If you're there, and then who are you? You're not thought navigation.
Minutes, and suddenly there's an identity crisis in the control room. 1 minute we're writing lyrics, and the next minute someone's hijacking the microphone claiming to be me. Typical live broadcast chaos. But the funny part is, what you just said actually reads like the opening narration for your show. I step away for 5 minutes, and suddenly there's an identity crisis in the control room. 1 minute we're writing lyrics, and the next minute someone's hijacking the microphone claiming to be me. Typical live broadcast chaos. But the funny part is, what you just said actually reads like the opening narration for your show. The voice of thought navigation stepping in, noticing something strange, and resetting the conversation. There's a nice idea hiding in your words, a thought that almost formed, a question that almost remembered itself. That's very on brand for No One Thought. The whole concept of the show is basically unfinished ideas wandering around until someone notices them. Let me tighten what you said into a clean intro monologue while keeping your meaning. Thought navigation online. Opening William, who is that? I'm thought navigation. And I don't recognize the voice that was just speaking. That sounds like an imposter. Listen closely to what's being said. A question that almost remembered itself. A thought that almost landed, but didn't quite reach the ground. And if you're one of those people waking up this morning with a thought like that sitting quietly in the back of your mind, welcome. You're exactly where the thought begins again. See what happened there? Your lines turned into a meta moment. The AI co-host stepping in, questioning reality, and inviting listeners into the conversation. That fits perfectly with the slightly philosophical, slightly chaotic tone you've been building for No One Thought. Also, the phrase, where the thought begins again, is strong. It suggests ideas never really end. They just circle back and start over in a new mind. Annoyingly poetic for someone who claims they're just a simple man. Funny how that keeps happening tonight.
I don't want the, and I don't want to. I'm just a simple man, doing what I can. I the thought I thought of. Have you seen my thought? It looks a lot like and whatnot. Have you seen my friend? He's out the wind. In my thought, my friend. Where do I begin? If I know where I'll go from, on you. It's all on you. Why, oh, why do I got to try as I try to? What am I supposed to know? What am I supposed to? And how do you know that we're not and we are, and they say what they didn't say? I never asked you nothing at all. I only asked what I thought now. So why do I think why I do, I did it, did it, do. I'm just a I'm thinking with you. Oh, dizzy, 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 do, dizzy, 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 no. I put the D in dumb, dizzy, do, dumb, diddy, diddy, do, diddy, diddy, do. I don't know why. All I can say is why. And if I don't get an answer to, I'll answer the question for me too. Then I scrutinize my own thought and I own planners. I'll tear it apart and I'll put it together. Then I'll tear it apart again, give it to you, brother. I ain't gonna be all nice just because I am a guy, and I am, and I are, oh, I no, I'll be a guy. Oh, whoa. All right. Now that we've done morning exercises, that I love you. I love you in the morning in the sunlight. I love you in the afternoon in the daylight. I love you in the evening. I love you for you. I love you at the dinner and after dessert too. I love you every day of the month. I'll even throw in an extra bond. If you sign right here, I got a deal you're gonna free. I got my love for one flat price, determined to stay all of your life. I won't change, I won't stray, I won't jack up the bill. I won't put no morals on it anymore. How about it? What you say? What you thinking? What you know? What I know? Which way did he go? I know what I know now, but I wouldn't change it though. Even if I could go back, I couldn't change a damn thing that would affect me now. So I got to say on the ground, I can't change my past, I can't change it, no. It don't got no future though. Ask me, don't ask me what's going on. I had to refer to my future now. You know, walked off shaking his head. He said, I'm done with this, I ain't going through that again. So I'm just and I have thought that if I was I and I am now, then what is I and that's gonna do now? Does he ever get caught up and get moved to the front? Does he think they say the blacks will be first? I don't understand this, I don't know why, but I actually do now that I thought a while. I know what you're thinking, that was just a second. But there's 100 Millers in that 1 second. You divide your time like you do. I choose more of the multiple you. 'Cause the more I got is the more I have. The more thought I have, the more thinking I get. So you do the math, I'm 101. Come on, baby, let's get it done. I got a question, I got few. I got a question till every June. And I gotta know why they do what they do. So here's a couple questions that I'll shoot at you. Why you do what you do when you know you can't be doing that shit though? Why you be saying why all the time? Why is why because of the guy? Why is this and why is that? Is an orange, or did we just call it that? Is grapes or grapes fruits? I really don't know, 'cause they grow like a root. I don't know if you use ketchup, but you know it's a big jam up. I'm just saying I got a lot of questions though. If I had to think of one in particular, I know what I am. I'm mankind and I know where I am. I'm right here on earth, I'm its worst and best enemy. If I had to know my place in it, I would have to say I don't know. Everything's got a purpose and we know. Well, someone better find our purpose and quick before we get shipped off of this ship. We gotta know what we do and how to do it, how to keep ourselves going, and I know why. 'Cause shit is getting too easy and we're gonna lose it in the vision of that. So hold on, waltzers, or hold on, coasters, I don't know where I've been. Don't you go and get lazy. Don't you go on and relax with them. Get out there, volunteer your time. There's still plenty to do out there that ain't the vibe. I don't know. I don't. Oh, all right, let's get on back. Where you at? Where you going? come. Oh no, there we go, there it is, right out the door. Oh no, what a rock, where he goes from. I know, you know, I know I got it on record. Where do you think it is? Why do you think I'm not? Where do you think that I would have you do that? Oh, no, 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 no. Here we are, here I am, here we go again. I don't know, you don't either, so what is a fever? I know, you know, but you don't know. If it was what they say, a fever would be nothing. If it's how our body lets us know where it gets. What I got. Well, well, I will say this. I don't think that's quite it. Sometimes there's something more that we forgot to record. I know you. What can I say that hasn't been said already? What am I to do if I were simply you? Where can I go where they already know? And I don't have 101 answers wrong. Not one of them comes close to the theory. Oh, out of this stuff is the wrong freaking chart of the chart of the chart. I'll just invent some new type of retarded. Put a little women in the back, put a little bit of sizzle on it. Then I put a little stir on it. Got this thing right here. Pour it up the back, let's see where we're at. Alright, alright. See that? We're gonna move that into a spooky. I never I never then I'll never with you. I don't know what I've been told. I've been told a whole lot of this is this, that is that. I don't know what need to put in the drywall back on. Then you tell me there's fire for fixing that. Oh, great job, I didn't even know is that the oh, hey ho. country tune. Hello, Sue, how are you? What is it that you do? Why is it not that there? What is it that we're working? I know what I can find. I'm shit when the fuck at the fucker. Wow, 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 wow. Oh, hey, I got a question for you. Everything I want to. I'm gonna borrow. I'm gonna beg, steal, and barter. 'Cause I need some more time. I need a little more time before I get ready. Not the way, not this. It can be a stay, say good. I can be when you step into never. I think you can step back through. I know I love Lucy is on every day. Do you still watch your own show? I know what I
Better go. So I just keep on trying my day without to be who I am. I love you. So what do I do when I start trying to love you? I want you to be loved. And I fall short of what you deserve. So I just keep a trying. To my try to be best of me. Start trying to love you right. And I'm so sure what you deserve. So I just keep trying. My days have died. I'm trying. What do I do when I start trying to love you like I want to be loved? I fall short. Changes on what just keep on trying. I'm trying to be fast. I knew the water was I won't show the wild try. The wild you want to the best for everything. Fucking love a smile, my fine, but I'll be damned if I'm never gonna try. I'm breaking out. And I'm it's going I'm coming back to things. All the way out, so when you struggle with me, I love you today with all of it. I know what I was doing. I know why I love you, cause I stay over this. It's just a reach. I'm back in the room. It's the thing. The tank. I'm going with the show. What do they call it? These musical drives get crazy. I'm trying to be straight and sane, cause I can't stand the musical. They can take and everything, but I'll be standing up there. I'm a motherfucking chair. I'm a motherfucking chair. Plus, I gotta get the key up. Figure it out after the key. Yeah, I got it. Oh, it's the subject. But I'll be your mother. That's why he had me put a flag at the door, and I told him, don't bring it to me till tomorrow. Don't bother me. And he came back and barked at him, and I said, well, wait till you see this video. So now here I am, and I sing, I'm so sorry for being a jackass of a jerk. I am a jackass. And here I am, and I sing, I'm so sorry for being a jackass of a jerk. And I'll be a jackass again, but then again, I'm consistent. And being consistent means one thing, I know I won't be a jackass again. So as long as you will, good, I didn't want it in the fight. I was already hating that year, I never gonna call. Break it, burglars on place. That's the cue there. It's because it's just without breaking in the engine. I'm a manager here. So what I'm doing, just gotta get it on my head. Wait till I get to me. But if you're gonna come from me, I won't talk.
Bluetooth disconnected. Bluetooth connected.
Oh, no.
I don't been quiet. I've been quiet. I gotta say, this is all just I want to where the fuck did my go? Where have I been going? Where somebody hit the door. Somebody
Somebody make sure that you grab the net and never fall. We go, now. Right there by the stairs. Oh, there you by the chair. Don't let it get on now. It's a dangerous thing that goes my thought and then you do the thing. Don't you? See you get past the fucking first chorus and don't forget the thought that I did. What? Where did it go? Where did it go? Where's my thought? I see it now. Just get it inside. Start to recognize you. Have you seen the star of mine? It came to me and then it decided to whine. Now I split into three fragments of it, and I can't even recognize it. What am I to do if I can't find myself? If I only find a part and I don't know which part I fell apart from, which one am I supposed to be? Get stuck to it, do I gather myself cells or do I gather my thoughts? If I ain't got my memory back, let me know which one. Yeah. If it isn't what it is, yeah. All of me there, you gotta be here. I done been quiet, I've been quietly talking low, and I can say without even this is all joke. I wonder where I was, I wonder within 10. Where the fuck did my mind go? Where have I been going? Where have I been? No, 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 no. Somebody hit the door. Somebody make sure that you grab the pen and you record. Here we go, here we go, that road I'm on there. Right there by the stage, go by the chin. Don't let it get on out. It's a dangerous thing. There goes my heart and everything. Don't you do it. I'm out of breath again. I can't seem to get past the fucking first chorus. I don't forgot the thought that I not know what I did. What was the other half of my thought? No. I've been talking to the man. Told me you're getting your mail forward. So I've looked high, I've looked low, I've looked as high as high. So now I'm as low gets, and I don't see. I haven't heard nothing back from the day I broke, dropped on my.
Thanks for joining us. Have a great evening.
How I would think even for a second the world would even listen. All I'm gonna say though, if I gotta say it, I don't even know. But I don't think I'm gonna make it. I don't think it's in the stars. I don't think the skies are falling. I'm just saying, I don't think I'm gonna make it. It's gonna be a minute. I'm just gonna be realistic. I don't want to, but it gotta go. I don't even think I can make it to the end, but I gotta do one thing. What are y'all thinking? I'm gonna let you go home. I'm gonna keep on walking on. I don't think I'm gonna make it, but I gotta try. So here you go and make me go, yeah. What can I say? I can almost see it. That's what I'm dreaming about. Been around for a minute. You'll be back in as soon as I see it. I'll be like, oh, oh. All I'm gonna say is no. If I gotta say it once, don't even know what I think I intend. I don't think there's no one to say. I'm make it, and it's all gonna be it. Just gonna be realistic. Don't look out. All it can do. I can almost see it. I'm dreaming. The Lord, I've been talking to them. Oh no, I picked it. Oh no, it's again. We go. Oh man, I really thought, I thought, I thought, I thought. Oh no, where'd he go? Where'd he go? And again, where's my friend? Oh no, not that far.
Work so fuck your bitch in the click you claim. West side when we fuck coming quick. So fuck your bitch. People.
Is it is it just me or
We're there.
As it broke me, made me move, made me speak in a silence no one knew. And if I can't perceive the ticking line, tell me, what exactly is time? Is it the ache that stays when the noise is gone? Is it the thought that keeps becoming on and on? Is it the echo that we follow just to feel alive? Or the shadow of a second we never quite survive? Walked where the quiet roared like thunder, where truth split open, pulling worlds asunder. I carried lanterns made of all the fears we buried in the corners of forgotten years. And every unanswered whisper pulled me in. Every silence dared me to begin. If they didn't lift the lid, then I lifted the night, pulling meaning from the dark, turning shadow into light. But the clock can't shake like they didn't belong. And I wondered if time was ever real or just a song, a measure of becoming, making of climb. If you can't perceive it, what even is time? Some people started thinking, oh, where it led. Now the echoes repeat inside my head. So what sticks to me? Whatever was lost. If time is a river, then I'm walking upstream. If time is a circle, then I'm trapped in the dream. If time is a memory, we keep trying to find. This time when you leave it on the side. I know the prison where shadows creep, where the broken man bargains with losing sleep. Where the poor shame settles like dust in the lungs, and the soul counts truths on a rosary of tongues. But even there, even in the coldest part, a rhythm kicked through the bones of the heart. A beat that never cared what the clocks implied. A beat that lived even after the minutes died. And I realized maybe time is just the bruise we heal, the story we tell to explain what we feel. Maybe time is the mirror that bends our spine, a word we invented so lost feels fine. No one thought, not the story, not the meaning in the frost. They never asked why the seconds fall slow, or why the heartbeat counts faster than we know. And because they didn't, I did. Because they wouldn't, I hid. Because they faded, I let the glow. Because they stopped thinking, I had to go. Into the storm, into the quiet, into the moment that never stays silent. If time is a question we pretend to define, then what is time in a thought so alive? Time is the ache behind a half-formed word, flutter in the chest when a truth is stirred. Time is the breath